Notre Dame this season is taking up an ACC bowl slot at the Gator Bowl minus the SEC and the giant killer, South Carolina. And so the Irish are a 3-point favorite in this one. We got Steve Merrill on the line from Wager Talk to help us break it down. As always, you can catch Steve's selections on wagertalk.com, and he gives us a slice of his college football looks across our landscape of channels here at the Voice of College Football. All right, Steve, we've got Notre Dame and South Carolina, a couple 8-4 teams getting together.
Yeah, I mean, South Carolina, what do they have left, right? They just knocked two teams out of the playoffs, and now they play in a bowl game. It's just an incredible run. And let's keep in mind, when the season began a year ago, the preseason Heisman favorite was Spencer Rattler at Oklahoma. He didn't even finish as their quarterback when the season was over. So there's always been some potential there at South Carolina. He had an incredible game against Tennessee, to say the least, in that 63-point win, 63-38 win. But then they did it again, 2-touchdown dog against Clemson the following week, did not take their foot off the gas. And keep in mind, right before those two big playoff eliminating wins for Tennessee and Clemson against those schools, they lost 38-6 against Florida the week before and barely beat Vanderbilt the week before that. So it is which South Carolina team shows up. I think there's no question they had some momentum. The debate becomes, does the full month off help or hurt them? You know, did they need a breather after those two wins? Probably. Did they need a full month off? Probably not. But then again, what do we do with Notre Dame? This is such a textbook example of the problems handicapping the college bowls. As you know, transfer portal movement more than ever now in history of college football. And Notre Dame quarterback, didn't take long after they lost to USC. He's talking about it. So it's a difficult game to handicap. I do think South Carolina is a little bit more of a known quantity here. And on the surface, you look at Notre Dame, just 5.8 yards per play against teams that allowed 5.6, but they played a lot better down the stretch. In fact, they had scored 35 or more in 5 straight games until that USC game, and they only put up 27. They did have a 2-0 turnover deficit in that loss. Threw the ball well, did not run the ball well, though. And South Carolina on the season has had a bad run defense. They give up 5 yards per carry, almost 200 rushing yards per game. So with the quarterback uncertainty at Notre Dame, you do expect the Irish to run the ball more, and they should have some success doing that against South Carolina. They weren't a great run team this season, but that was South Carolina's big weakness, was the run defense. And even during this recent run of success, they gave up 237 to Clemson, 374 to Florida. Tennessee only ran for 152, and if you look back at it, maybe Tennessee should have tried to establish the run game more. They wouldn't have given up 63 points. So we'll see how this game plays out. As far as the line on this game, Notre Dame opened as a 5.5-point favorite. It's now down to 3. I even see some 2.5s out there. So if you like South Carolina, you probably want to grab the +3. If you like Notre Dame, I would wait, because especially when the public gets more involved with this near kickoff, it'll probably hit 2.5 or less. So it really depends on which side you like when you play this game. And keep in mind, 3 is the most key betting number in all of sports when it comes to football. About an 8 to 9% chance Notre Dame normally would win this game by exactly 3 points. So taking +3 or laying -2.5 is very critical when you play this game.
We've got tons of benefits for you on Patreon. Go to patreon.com, search MarkRogersTV. You get Steve's Under the Radar selections. They're exclusive there on Patreon. 12, 1-1 against the spread. And you also can join our Discord, talk college football all the time with the knuckleheads right there. Steve, we appreciate you stopping by as always.
Thanks, Mark.